Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Robert Vilahamn's press conference ahead of our next WSL match against Aston Villa. So we'll start in the room and then we'll get on to everyone who's online to make sure everyone gets all their questions answered. So James, do you want to kick this off?
Hi Robert, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you.
Let's start with Grace Clinton's call up for England. Brilliant news for her and great news for the club as well.
Yeah, I mean, she's been here for 2 months and already in the Lionesses, right? So I think that's a proof that we can develop young players and make them be really good for this country. But she's been brilliant. I mean, from the day one, she's worked so hard and open to learn. And I think you've seen how she can perform in this league, and now she's ready for the big stage.
You say it's only been 2 months, but back-to-back victories now in the WSL. Just how pleased have you been with the start, but also with how the players are buying into your methods and what you're trying to teach them?
If we start with the points, I'm very happy with 6 points after 3 games because you need the points in the table, but that's not the main thing in the beginning. It's actually how we play and how we try to play the Spurs way. And if you look at it, I think we have developed every game, and I think we're showing the audience and the fans and everyone that we actually try to play the way we want to do it, and we actually succeed quite much. So I'm very pleased with that, but it's going to come times where we don't succeed, and it's going to come games where we lose as well. So I'm just to, make sure we continue to develop, because this season is all about that, to actually keep going. So I'm very happy with the start, but I know that it's going to come tough times as well.
And Aston Villa, they've had tough times, lost 3 their opening matches, but they've had some really tough opposition, some really close games as well. So it'll be a really big test tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't think you should go for the table and think that Aston Villa is down there, because 2 tough games and they lost in the last minutes basically. And I think they have some really talented, good players in that squad. So for me, tomorrow is one of the toughest away games, I would say. And even if they are in the bottom of the table, I have enormous respect for that coach and that team they have. So it's going to be a really tough game, and it's also a good test for us to see if we can actually compete against them, because they were in 5th place last year. So enormous respect for them.
And finally, for me, great news. The club confirmed that the North London derby will be played at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium later on this year. Just how much are you looking forward to your first experience of what is a brilliant stadium?
I mean, very much, of course. We will play every game before that to make sure we have a good performance there. But if you look at that game and that stadium, we had a friendly game there, and I just fell in love with that stadium. And I've been to the men's game a few times. And when the fans is coming, and hopefully we can actually get all the fans coming for that game and make sure we try to beat Arsenal. And I think for the long run, that's what we need, to have good performance, good, with the fans at that stadium, so we can have more games in the future there as well. So this is a good first step. It's the week before Christmas, and I think a lot of people want to come and watch us play. So it's going to be amazing. Thanks.
Yeah, George.
Hi, Robert. How you doing? You just mentioned then about 6 points from 9, which is obviously a really good tally. Just in terms of performances, have you been surprised by how quickly the players have taken on board what you actually wanted?
Yeah, actually. I mean, when you start playing a certain style, this style is quite tough. You're going to dictate games, you're going to try to be brave, you're going to risk to lose the ball and so on. So I kind of thought it was a little bit more difficult to get those points and dictate the games, but it's also showing how good the players are. I mean, they are national team players. They are really good players, so they are really good to take in the knowledge and to be brave. So it was a good match to actually get them here, because they want to play this style. It's not like I need to convince them. They actually want to do this, and that's a big thing. And I also, when you know that the Tottenham Hotspur want to play this way and we do it for the club, I think that's the main thing. We don't really are scared to lose a game against Chelsea in the first game. Everybody wanted us to play that way, and the fans and the board member, everybody was like, okay, we lost that game, but that was like a big thing for us to show the fans that we want to play this way. And then against Brighton, they score a goal in the beginning, and those games could be tricky to turn around, especially when you come from a season last year where you lost a lot of games. But the way they just played and kept going, and the subs coming in and showing them that they also want to play that game. So for me, I'm a little bit surprised that it's already looking that good. But I'm also aware that it's not going to look that good in all the games. We're going to have a setback or 2 soon, because that's how you develop. You need those as well, and I'm fine with that as long as we keep going. But of course, I'm very happy right now, because we have played 3 good games the last week and 9 points, and a lot of good goals. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I was going to say, is your job almost to kind of keep everyone level and say we are still at the beginning, even though maybe it feels like you're jumping ahead of the process?
Yeah, I think people looking at the table and think, we are ready for the Champions League or the title, and hopefully we are soon. But if you start looking that way, you're going to lose the performance and the development, and you don't realize that you're actually going to play against really tough teams, and to develop, you need to go through phases, and we are through the first phase, which is actually a good phase, but we will end up where we're losing games or players are disappointed, not playing too much and everything, and I'm just preparing the squad to be ready for that and take the next step, because once again, it's the next year we're really going to go for it, but of course, if everything goes well, you never know in football, but I'm not pushing the team there. We need to stay on the ground and make sure we have a good progress right now, but it will come tough times as well.
And just finally from me, you mentioned Aston Villa and how much respect you've got for Carla Ward. They obviously finished 5th last season. Are they a real good benchmark for actually where you guys are at the minute?
I think so. I think if you look at the top 4, I think their budget and their players is on another level, just because they have actually been in the top level for a few years. Aston Villa was there, Tottenham was there 2 years ago, but they didn't succeed last year. So I think if you start nailing those teams around 6th, 5th place, and we can nail those teams and try to get there, then we are ready for the next step to beat into the top 4. So I think the game tomorrow is to see if we're actually ready right now or if we need to improve even more. But like I said, Aston Villa is not down there. They're going to be up there. I can guarantee that.
All right, we'll start with Emma Sanders online.
Hey Robert, nice to see you. Hope you're well.
Hi, yeah, everything fine.
Good stuff. I just wanted from your perspective as a coach who clearly likes to play sort of this attacking, sort of free-flowing type of football. Does this game on the weekend, is this a game that really excites you because it's 2 teams that both kind of have similar philosophies, and I can imagine you're hoping there'll be some space in behind their defence to try and exploit.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the teams who want to play, because then you have a good game for the fans, but it's also a good way for us as a team to try to press them, because they want to have the ball right, and it's also they want to attack as well. So hopefully it becomes that kind of game where you have a battle who's going to dictate it, and if you dictate it, you're going to have space to break through the lines and score goals. So, and if you lose it, it's not so fun though, but it's more like I want to have those games because those are the most fun. So I really look forward to it, and I think we're going to compete against Aston Villa and see. I mean, we come with a good self-confidence and they come with a battle, right? So I hope we can use that in the beginning and make sure we try to dictate it. But I'm not really because I have played against 2 top teams and they have actually tried to defend those games as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play against us tomorrow.
Yeah, I just want to follow up on what you were saying before about kind of being on this process, obviously with Spurs, and the fact that you've only been in for a few weeks. Do you think that maybe you've been able to kind of quietly go about your business, and now after some good performances, the pressure might start coming on a little bit more from the outside because people have started to see just how well you are playing?
It might be. I'm not really aware how much focus people outside this building is doing against me and the team, but for me it's like I'm quite self-confident in how we're going to do this and how it's going to take time. So even if we're going to have a setback just because they know us more or they have more respect or they don't have respect, it's more like we don't really care. We're just going to keep going with our style and make sure we get there to the end. And for me, it's I want to get to the point where they see how we play and they just can't handle it. I don't want to adapt my way of playing just because they are good or not. I'm going to make sure we start developing. And if we lose a few games through that, we're going to do that because we're going to learn every time we lose as well. So for me, it's, even if people are taking us more seriously, we're going to keep going, and I'm not really bothered about that.
Nice one. Thank you. Best of luck.
Yeah, thanks, Chris.
Hi Robert, Celine Bizet started the season really well. Statistically, she's one of the most progressive players in the league so far. How would you describe working with Celine so far? And have you had any conversations with her about her ambitions and where she wants to get to?
Yeah, I mean, she's one of those players I actually followed when she was in PSG and wanted to sign into Häcken because she didn't play too much. So she's one of those players I really know well. And for me, working with her now and actually work with her self-confidence and getting her into the right position and the way of playing that suits her, I think it's really fun to work with her. And I still think she needs to score more goals, and I think she wants to score more goals, but she gives us so much both in defense and offense. And now she's back in the national team again in the Norway, and it shows something that she's improved, right? And all the stats this year shows that she's taking steps. So for me, she's one of those players who can bring the Tottenham football to this ground, and she can actually help us develop, and she can develop with it. I think she can be one of the top players in this league when she nailed the points up there to do assist and score goals.
And just want to ask the same question really, but for Jessica Naz, because what do you see in her as a young player, and have you made any challenges for Jess this season?
Yeah, I mean, she's one of those players I was really impressed with when I looked at the games last year, but it was more like glimpse of it every game. It was a few minutes there, and she was struggling with injuries, and she didn't really play 90 minutes. And when I came here, a lot of people told me that she's not really handling 90 minutes, and her body's not working for that, but she has an exceptional talent, So for me, it was like, okay, let's see how we rebuild her. So in the beginning of preseason, I played her a lot as a 9, as a winger, and make sure she improved with her conditioning, basically. And now when we have Martha Thomas, then she ended up on the bench anyway. But I think that's been good for her, because now she can be playing 30 or 40 minutes and really improve. And then she had a really good game in the Conti Cup. And now, she's just knocking on the door to start the games for me. And I think in the long run, she will. And I think she will be a huge star in this league, because the speed she has is not too many that have. So I think we have more to see from her, because she's taking steps every week.
And Dan Penton, thank you.
Hi Robert, hope you're well. I just want to ask about the weather conditions, because obviously going up there to Birmingham, I know they've had a lot of rain in the last 2 hours. There's been quite a lot of flooding up there. So, if the game goes ahead, how does that kind of affect your preparations, and kind of will you need to alter the game plan to kind of suit the conditions if the pitch is quite heavy?
I think it's a few things. If it's wet and actually you can play quick football, that's fine. If it's too wet and it actually makes you really tired, it might be that I need to do some earlier changes in the game, for example, because we still want to press them, we still want to play the way we want to do it. But it's always about that. If it's windy, if it's the pitch is that or this, and I think you need to deal with it when you're there. It's hard to plan everything, every scenario, but for me it's like a wet pitch is the best one, because then you can play quick football, and if they get tired, then I just need to use the bench, basically.
I know when I spoke last week, you said about the number 9 in your team will always score goals the way that you want him to play. I think Martha's now got, she scored in every game, I think. So, from her point of view, are you setting any kind of targets for her in terms of the number of goals this season?
No, I never push a player on that result goals. I think it's it should just be tough for them to run around chasing that goal. I just think they should play and defend and run and score goals and be happy for that. So for me, it doesn't really matter. If she's doing it, she can do it. But for me, I know that the number 9, when we play this style, is scoring goals. And if you are a really good goal scorer, you're going to score a lot of goals. So Martha is doing it right now, and I still think we haven't seen the best of her yet. She's scoring goals when she presses, she's scoring goals in different scenarios. But in the long run, I think she's going to score the easy goals as well, where you do the cutbacks and everything as well. So hopefully she will continue with the strike, but I'm not really expect that. I just expect her to be that sharp that she is and bring us all the stuff she's doing. So I'm really happy with her, even if she scores or not.
Brilliant. Thanks, Robert. Best of luck. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Rachel, now.
Hi. I guess I was going to ask you about your Finnish midfield pair, and I wondered, they've had just 3 good games on the trot, really, and obviously they played before for Finland, but Olga's new to the squad, and I wondered if you were thinking about having seen them playing for Finland together before when you brought Olga in, or is there sort of the way they're playing together something of a pleasant surprise to you?
No, I didn't know how they play together, actually. I've never seen them play in Finland. I just seen Olga play in her way and Evelina in her way, and you think they are 2 brilliant footballers. But it's for me, it's like tactics is absolutely important, but for me, the relations on the field is even more important, because that's when you actually find the details that I cannot teach them. And I think people that like each other or can communicate in a good way can play easier with each other. So I think the mixture of those two, having the same language and coming from the same country and moving here, and they are still really professional and really always dictated to make sure they are even better the next day. So I think they suit each other, and they suit the way I want to play, and they bring something extra with that chemistry, right? So I'm very happy about that, and I hope that they can just develop through that, because they communicate a lot on the pitch, and I think that's a good thing for us.
Yeah, thanks. And not just them, but we've seen most of Spurs players who've been here for a while have had their passing statistics improving this season under you. What do you think the key has been to that, and to just
I think when you work with players, you need to work every day on training easy passes and first touches and everything, and then you need to work with self-confidence, and then you need to work with movement. So when I took over this team and I came here, the pass and drills was not so good. I can guarantee that. And I was like, with the first friendly game we lost against Reading, and it was not a good game. But the thing is, if you're going to improve people, you need to work for a long time about it, and you need to train hard, because what they have, though, is exceptional talent, and they have it in them. But when you have bad self-confidence and you haven't trained it for a while, it's kind of a period you need to work on it. So if you look at the trainings now and how we play the possession and the passenger, it's so high quality. And I must say, like, in 8 weeks to see that, that's really impressive. And I think these players can, they can be so good. And if they are just continuing to develop and play this way, you're going to see even more passes and even more accuracy in the game as well, because we are playing some really good football some phases of the game.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Kaya, do you have any questions?
I think we just touched on like the game against Aston Villa, as you said, the not started very well, like three losses in the league. Do you think that's going to motivate them, or will it like make sort of Spurs work harder and like think, yeah, we can turn this around for them, or well, not turn this around for them, but
Yeah.
make it worse for them into the break, or how do you think it'll sort of affect the mentality of Spurs going into the game tomorrow, that they've obviously lost the first 3 in a row?
Yeah, I mean, if I were them, I would just keep believing in what I'm doing and then make sure we're just going to go to that game with their style. But I think they have noticed that we play quite good football and we are winning a few games, so I think they will have respect for us. But I also think that they are, they have like some really good experiences played. I don't think they are stressed right now. I think they know how they can play, and that they can play it against us as well. So I don't think it will be that, but I just know that people with self-confidence can find those situations where you saw Grace last game, where she's taking that shot, and I think people in not that self-confidence might not take that shot. So hopefully we have some kind of benefit there, but otherwise, no, they have two good players to not come to that game tomorrow and perform and fight for it.
Do you think the international break is coming at a bad time? Obviously, for Spurs, it's sort of a good run at the moment, playing really well. Do you think having this break is going to make it affect the team's sort of morale negatively, or will it only give you a better chance to have a few weeks to sort of speak to the players that are still with you and not on international duty?
I will always prefer to work with the players for a long time together, because you take steps every week. But I'm kind of learned to how it is and how to deal with those breaks. And I think if you use them in a good way, because we have a really good, staff team taking care of the nutrition, how much they should train when they are gone, how they are feeling and everything, then we can actually use this time to recover. And actually, those players who are staying here, we can train them quite hard and make sure they develop here. So one way we actually make sure we use this time to develop them even more, train even harder. So using the time for that, then I'm kind of pleased, because then you get you catch a break. You don't really need to focus on the game. You just focus on training. But on the other hand, I'd rather have them here and play every week. So yeah, it's a mixed feeling.
Thank you.
Yeah, Michaela, when you're ready.
So obviously, Martha joined at the start of the season. She's already scored 3 goals in 3 games. How much of an asset, obviously going forward into the season, do you think she'll be to the club?
I mean, we only worked for a few weeks together, and she's still already do the things she's doing, right? And she's going to improve. She's going to be better. Last year, she didn't play not many 90 minutes games in Man United. So if you look at what we can bring to her now, and for the long run, I think we can bring one of the absolute top strikers in this league with her if we can continue work with her. But the main thing is she's so good in training and as a character, and giving the other players some instructions as well. So for me as a coach, it's brilliant to have that kind of player who can help me help other players as well. So Grace Clinton in the national team, of course, that's so fun to see, but it's also because of these players around her, because they help us so much. And Martha is one of those. So I'm not sure how good she can be, but she's already top League 9 in this run, and I think she can stay there, and she can bring even more stuff to this team.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
I think the last one is Sophie. Do you have any questions?
Sure, why not? Just a bit of a general one, really, Robert. I was just wondering, because you keep using the word development. I think you've used about 8 times now. I'm keeping track. I was just wondering, sort of more generally, how you see your job as a coach, because I think a lot of managers or coaches will come in and it's about winning games or trying to improve a team, but it feels that you've kind of got a more general kind of broad holistic idea. So I was just wondering how you kind of see your role in football.
I think I see my role in football is the same as I see in life. I mean, I'm trying to be better every day. So I know I'm going to do mistakes every day. So when you deal with a mistake in that way, you don't really need to be sad too long. You actually find a new way to develop, and then next day you try to do it again. I think I'm trying to find those ways with the players as well to make sure that they dare to do it, and if they don't succeed, you're going to learn from it, and if they succeed, you're going to still need the improvement the next day. And I think that's the best way to do, because then you don't really need to be so stressed about the game result. So if we lose against Villa tomorrow, I'm going to be sad, I'm going to be angry, everything, but I know that the day after I'm going to make sure we are better next week. And in the long run, if we win through it, that's good, and I think we will. And if we're not, then I just take the consequences of that. And if we lose a few games and we don't develop, then I need to improve, and I need to improve. And if I'm not working with that, then they can fire me, and I take another job, and I continue to develop. So it's more like finding a balance in life where you don't really affect you too much. It's hard in this business, and it's hard in life sometimes as well. But I think it's kind of nice when you do that, because you don't really get too stressed. And I think when I can be calm, I can give that to the players, and they can be calm, and they can be brave, and we take it from there, basically. So, I'm kind of triggers from new situations, because then I can learn. So like this press conferences is with English language. It's like, okay, I can develop my English, I can develop my, so everything is a way for me to develop. And I think when you look at it that way, it's fun. So everything becomes fun and hard, but that's fun.
I mean, I think it goes down to the person, right, with how like a loss will affect them or whatnot. And I think maybe footballers, those who kind of have that, are more ambitious, shall we say, they can take losses a bit, be a bit harder for them. Whereas if I lose a game of like pools or Trivial Pursuit, I can be in a horrible mood, but there's no jeopardy there. Whereas I think a footballer, they can really get down on themselves. So I was just wondering, sort of, because you do seem to be a very positive person, how you can lift your players. And I know that, at Häcken as well, you had some great results, and maybe you weren't always facing having to lift players, but just wondering how you do.
I mean, it's hard to tell. I find my way and how I want to do it, and it's been a good way. I've won a lot, and then I had a bad first 6 months with Häcken because we didn't win too much, and that was because I was just looking for that win. I was only working, we were supposed to win that league. We were supposed to do that, and we lost a few games, and then it was like, oh, we cannot win the league anymore. Okay, what should we do now? And it's like, oh, we need to work on to be better footballers and better squad, and we need to have the best squad. So I learned a lot from that, because that was like my main thing was like, yeah, we want to win. Tottenham want to win. The players want to win. Everybody understand that. But if I'm just chasing that victory, you will lose the momentum to develop through that. And when you do that, you're going to win more games. I know that. So for me, doing this is not me not want to win. I'm going to win with this team. I know I'm going to win for the long run, but I'm going to do it my way, and my way is going to be the Tottenham way, and the Tottenham way is going to be a fun way and a development way, and you're going to see players like Grace coming to the national team. You're going to see players score goals or winning the, you score most goals in the league and everything, but it might be sometimes we're not going to do it, and then I'm going to still be really sharp in how we develop from that and how we make sure. That's my way to make sure that the players have a good environment. But I haven't, who knows? I might lose in the next 10 games, and then I need to work with that. But I'm going to stick to the plan to develop, and through that, I'm going to win. I know that. Tack så mycket.
All right, thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.